Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, August the 19th, 2015. Four Jewish Israeli teenagers and an Arab Israeli woman in her 50s were lightly wounded last night in Jerusalem in rock attacks on a bus and two cars. The incident took place in the East Jerusalem neighborhood of Atur when Palestinian youth threw rocks at the vehicles, shattering both the windshields of the bus and the two cars. Magen David Adom paramedics treated the wounded at the scene and transferred them to Hadassah Medical Center in Ein Karem. Police were looking for suspects. The music festival in Spain that had dropped Jewish-American singer Matisyahu from its lineup over his refusal to publicly express his views on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict has now apologized and re-invited the singer to perform. Organizers of Rototom Sunsplash 2015 wrote on their Facebook page today that they, quote, reject anti-Semitism and any form of discrimination towards the Jewish community. They admitted that they made a mistake due to, quote, pressure, coercion, and threats used by a local BDS, Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions campaign in Spain, País Valencia. The apology and re-invite follows uproar over the initial cancellation of the Jewish-American singer, most recently yesterday by Spain's foreign ministry, who said imposing a public declaration from Matisyahu puts into question the principle of non-discrimination on which all plural and diverse societies are based. Jewish organizations here in the U.S., including the World Jewish Congress, the Anti-Defamation League, and the American Jewish Committee, had also condemned the cancellation, calling it a clear example of anti-Semitism. Mayors across the country signed an initiative against anti-Semitism this week, among them Mayor of San Antonio, Texas, Ivy Taylor, whose city was recently the target of two instances of anti-Semitic vandalism. As we reported to you, Congregation Rodfei Shalom and 30 cars and buildings near the synagogue were vandalized last week with hateful graffiti. And on Monday, a second synagogue, Agudat Achim, was defaced with similar anti-Semitic graffiti. Texas Governor Greg Abbott condemned the vandalism, calling it a, quote, offensive and disturbing attack on people of all faiths. The American Jewish Committee, who is behind the Mayors United Against Anti-Semitism statement, urged authorities in San Antonio to bring those responsible for the attacks against the Jewish community there to justice. A Jewish woman is said to be the first openly transgendered person to serve in the White House. The White House announced Tuesday that Rafi Friedman Gerspan has been hired as an outreach and recruitment director in the White House Office of Presidential Personnel. Friedman Gerspan was born in Honduras and raised in Massachusetts by a single Jewish mother. The woman believed to be the world's oldest known Jewish person has died. According to the Chabad Lubavitch news site, Goldie Steinberg passed away on Sunday at the age of 114 at the Grandel Rehabilitation and Nursing Center in Long Beach, New York. As a child, Steinberg survived the 1903 Kishinev pogrom. In 1923, she moved to the U.S. and lived in New York City. She is survived by 2 children, 4 grandchildren, and 7 great-grandchildren. The Associated Press reports that researchers in Portugal believe that remains found in an ancient prison garbage dump in the country could very well be those of Jewish victims of the Portuguese Inquisition, which began in 1536. 12 skeletons were found by an excavation team at what was called the jail cleaning yard of the Inquisition court in the city of Evora. It was used between 1568 and 1634. The AP cited the researchers' remarks in the September edition of the Journal of Anthropological Archaeology. Hundreds of Jews were burned at the stake during the Portuguese Inquisition, and many prisoners also died in the jails. Since Jews were denied a proper burial, it seems likely that the remains found were those of Jews. However, the researchers noted it was not possible to determine that for sure. This summer in Israel has been Birthright's busiest. According to the Jewish Daily Forward, the free 10-day trip to Israel has brought a record 30,000 young Jewish people on its trips this summer, the program's highest to date. Participants came from 32 countries on 6 continents this year and were joined by 5,000 IDF soldiers and Israeli students. And looking now at our programming for tonight, Wednesday, August the 19th, at 7 o'clock, former Harvard Law professor Alan Dershowitz and journalist Peter Beinart debate the meaning of Zionism, moderated by Ethan Bronner of Bloomberg News at CUNY's Graduate Center in New York City. At 8 o'clock, journalist and author Yossi Klein Halevi talks about the prospects for peace at AIPAC, and at 9, he joins Mark Golub on L'chaim. Then at 10, Red Tent author Anita Diamond speaks at the 92nd Street Y. And coming up right after this news update tonight, In the News with Mark Golub, who is joined by Executive Director of the American Jewish Committee, David Harris, who explains why the AJC opposes the Iranian nuclear deal and is urging Congress to block it. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, August the 19th, 2015. I'm Teisha Bader.